Chapter 8. Mastering Communication and Conflict Resolution. Mastering communication and conflict resolution can feel like trying to juggle flaming torches while riding a unicycle. Communication is more than just talking. It's about getting your point across clearly without leaving the other person scratching their head in confusion. Imagine trying to explain your favorite video game to your grandma. You wouldn't use gamer slang, right? You'd break it down into simple terms. In this chapter, we will explore the art of making your message crystal clear and understanding what others are saying, both verbally and non-verbally. Think of it as tuning your social radio to the right frequency so that no signal gets lost. Now that we've got your attention, let's talk about what you'll master in this chapter. You'll learn how active listening can turn you into a conversation ninja, capable of picking up on even the subtlest cues. Ever noticed how a simple nod or maintaining eye contact can make someone feel truly heard? We'll explore that. But wait, there's more. Nonverbal communication will also get its time in the spotlight. We're talking about body language, facial expressions, and even the tone of voice. And when things get heated, we'll cover how to stay as cool as a cucumber, solve the real issues at hand, and find compromises that leave everyone happy. By the end of this chapter, you'll have a toolkit ready to handle any social curveball life throws your way. A. The art of communication. First, we will consider effective communication. Understanding and practicing effective communication is crucial, especially for teenagers who are navigating various social situations. Whether it's talking to friends, parents, or teachers, being clear and direct can make a huge difference. Imagine you're explaining something important to a friend, but you're using vague terms, and they end up misunderstanding you. This could lead to unnecessary confusion or even conflict. To avoid this, always ensure your message is straightforward. For example, instead of saying, "I feel like you might be possibly thinking about maybe going to the movies," say, "Are you planning to go to the movies?" Clear, right? Active listening is equally important. It's not just about hearing words, but truly understanding the message behind them. One way to enhance your listening skills is by maintaining eye contact with the speaker. It shows that you are engaged in the conversation and value what the other person is saying. Think of a time when you were talking to someone and they were constantly looking at their phone. Annoying, wasn't it? Now flip the situation. Be the person who gives full attention. Respond appropriately, nod when needed, and add remarks that show you're following along. Moving on to nonverbal communication. Did you know that most of our communication is nonverbal? Your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice play a massive role in how your message is received. Picture this. You're telling your best friend that you're fine, but your arms are crossed and your face looks upset. Mixed signals, right? They might not believe you because your nonverbal cues contradict your words. Ensure that your body language matches your verbal message. A friendly smile while talking can make a world of difference. Ask questions to clarify any doubts. This simple act demonstrates that you care about the conversation and are keen on avoiding misconceptions. Let's say your teacher explains a difficult concept in class. Instead of nodding along, pretending to understand, ask, "Can you explain that part again?" Trust me, it's a lifesaver. Questions also encourage more detailed answers, providing deeper insight into the topic at hand. So, how do all these elements tie together? Picture this scenario. You're in a group project meeting and things aren't going as planned. There's tension in the air. You decide to step up. First, you clearly state the problem. "I think we're struggling because we haven't divided the tasks properly." Then you listen to everyone's input attentively, making eye contact and nodding to show you're engaged. When someone expresses frustration with a frown and crossed arms, you notice their nonverbal cues and address them. "You seem upset. Is there something specific bothering you?" Finally, you ask, "How do you think we should split the tasks to be more efficient?" By doing so, you've used clarity, active listening, nonverbal communication, and questioning to navigate a tough situation effectively. Active listening as a key component. Active listening is a key component of effective communication. It's not just about hearing the words coming out of someone's mouth, but truly paying attention and understanding the message they are trying to convey. This can be particularly important in resolving conflicts or building strong relationships. One way to show engagement when someone is speaking to you is through nonverbal cues. You might think that communication is all about talking, but it's equally about expressing your attentiveness without words. For instance, making eye contact with the speaker can indicate that you are focused on what they're saying. Additionally, simple gestures like nodding can make a big difference. Imagine you're sharing an exciting story with a friend, and they give you that blank stare like they're off daydreaming in another world. Annoying, right? Compare that to someone who's maintaining eye contact and giving you a few nods here and there. Suddenly, you feel heard and valued. So remember, sometimes a nod and a glance can go a long way in showing you care about what's being said. Next up, reflecting back what you've heard is another golden nugget for active listening. Have you ever had someone repeat back what you just said, but with their own twist? It feels good, doesn't it? That's because it shows they're not just hearing you, they're understanding you. For example, let's say your buddy is venting about how tough their week has been. They mention they've been overloaded with homework and barely got any sleep. Instead of jumping in with your own complaints or advice, you could say, "Wow, sounds like you've had a really rough week with all those assignments and late nights." This not only shows empathy, but ensures you've comprehended their main points. Try this technique next time and watch how people open up more to you. Moving on, avoiding interruptions is super crucial. Picture this. You're halfway through telling a hilarious story, and your friend butts in with their own anecdote. Frustrating, huh? Interruptions can derail conversations and make the other person feel like their voice doesn't matter. Allowing the speaker to finish their thoughts not only respects their point of view, but also leads to a smoother conversation. It's like watching a great movie. You wouldn't pause it every 2 minutes, would you? Letting someone speak without cutting them off lets the conversation flow naturally, creating a more comfortable and respectful environment. Another important aspect of active listening is focusing on understanding rather than simply preparing your response. When someone is talking, it's easy to start formulating what you'll say next instead of fully absorbing their words, but doing that risks missing the essence of their message. Think of it like reading a book. If you skip pages to get to the end faster, you'll likely miss important details and nuances. Similarly, when conversing, concentrate on the speaker's words and intentions rather than rehearsing your reply in your head. By doing so, you'll develop a deeper comprehension of their perspective and be better equipped to respond meaningfully. So, how can these tips help you in real-life situations? Let me paint you a picture. Say you're working on a group project and tension starts to brew due to differing opinions. By applying active listening, you can help diffuse this tension. Use nonverbal cues to show you're engaged while each member speaks. Reflect back on what team members have said to clarify and confirm understanding. Avoid interrupting others, even if you disagree. By focusing on understanding their points, rather than immediately planning your counterarguments, you're fostering a collaborative and respectful environment. Over time, these habits will become second nature, helping you navigate not only group projects but also family discussions, friendships, and even future workplace interactions. Sure, practicing these skills may feel awkward at first, but think of it like learning to ride a bike. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. So go ahead and take these tips for a spin. Your relationships, whether with friends, family, or even teachers, will thank you. Conflict resolution techniques. Imagine you're in the middle of a heated argument with your best friend. It's easy to let emotions take over, right? But let's hit the pause button here. The first rule of handling conflicts is to stay calm. Think of it like this. If your mind is a stormy sea, you won't see anything clearly. To manage those waves of emotions, try taking deep breaths or even stepping away for a few minutes. Deep breathing helps slow down your heart rate and clears your mind, bringing back a sense of control. Imagine counting to 10 slowly, taking a walk around the block, or listening to some calming music. These simple actions can have a major impact on how you handle disagreements. Next up, identifying the issue is essential. Often, what we're arguing about isn't the real problem. Let's say you're mad because your sibling borrowed your clothes without asking. Is it really about the clothes, or is it more about feeling disrespected? Pinpointing the root cause helps address the actual problem instead of just skimming the surface. Consider writing down what's bothering you before you bring it up. Jotting it down forces you to clarify your thoughts and makes you less likely to get sidetracked by smaller issues. This also gives you a clear goal, solving the real problem rather than getting lost in the noise of the argument. Now that you're calm and have identified the real issue, how do you communicate it without making the other person feel like they're under attack? Enter I statements. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel ignored when I speak and feel like I'm not being heard." See the difference? The first one sounds like an accusation, which can make the other person defensive. The second one expresses your feelings and opens the door for a constructive conversation. It's like magic. People are generally more willing to listen when they don't feel blamed. Practice transforming common accusatory phrases into I statements before you need them, so they become a natural part of how you speak in tense situations. While you're at it, it's crucial to seek compromise. Conflict resolution isn't about winning or losing, it's about finding a solution that works for everyone. Imagine two friends arguing over which movie to watch. One wants action, the other comedy. The perfect compromise? An action comedy. Finding a middle ground doesn't mean one person has to give up everything they want. Instead, it's about both parties coming together to find a win-win situation. One effective way to seek compromise is to list out all possible solutions and then discuss their pros and cons together. By actively engaging in this activity, you both show a willingness to understand and resolve the disagreement amicably. Let's break down these ideas into a relatable example. Picture Jane and Sam, who are arguing about group project tasks. Jane feels she's doing most of the work, while Sam feels overwhelmed by personal issues. Staying calm, Jane takes a moment to breathe before responding to Sam. She then identifies the root problem, the imbalance in workload and lack of communication regarding personal constraints. Using I statements, Jane says, "I feel stressed when I have to complete most of the project work on my own." This opens a productive discussion where Sam feels understood and explains his challenges. They then seek compromise by redistributing tasks in a way that considers both Jane's effort and Sam's availability. Voila! A recipe for resolving conflicts effectively. Sometimes visualizing conflict resolution as a win-win scenario can help too. Both sides present their needs and brainstorm creative solutions together. When both parties feel heard and valued, reaching a compromise becomes easier. Think of it like building a bridge. Each side brings materials, and together they construct something stronger and better than what either could have built alone. Acknowledge that compromises often involve flexibility and patience. Sometimes it's necessary to meet halfway to foster harmony. Turning disagreements into opportunities. Conflicts are unavoidable, they pop up in every relationship. But instead of viewing conflicts as inevitable disasters, why not see them as opportunities for growth and to strengthen relationships? Transforming conflicts into chances for growth requires a purposeful approach and some key strategies. First up, finding common ground is essential. Finding common ground means identifying shared interests or values that both parties care about. Say you're arguing with a friend over what movie to watch. Maybe you both love action films but have different preferences within that genre. Identifying this shared interest can help build a foundation for resolving the conflict. It's like saying, "Hey, We both love action movies, so let's find one that's new for both of us. This approach demonstrates a willingness to compromise while acknowledging each other's tastes. Once common ground is found, the next step is discussing potential solutions. Collaborating on resolutions means actively engaging in dialogue where both parties' concerns are addressed. For instance, if two friends argue about how to spend their weekend, they could list out activities each person enjoys and try to incorporate elements from both lists. This collaborative spirit ensures that neither party feels neglected or overpowered. What's more, it shows respect for each other's viewpoints, fostering an environment of mutual understanding and cooperation. Encouraging self-reflection is another important strategy. After resolving a conflict, take some time to analyze what happened. Reflecting on past conflicts helps identify what worked well and where improvements can be made. Consider asking yourself questions like, "What was my contribution to the conflict?" Or, "How could I handle a similar situation better next time?" By doing this, you not only learn from your experiences, but also equip yourself with better tools for handling future disputes. And let's not forget the power of positive affirmation. Reinforce the belief that effective conflict resolution can lead to better relationships. When you successfully navigate a conflict, remind yourself and others involved of this success. It builds confidence and trust. Saying something simple like, "I'm glad we talked this through. I feel our friendship has grown stronger," can make a world of difference. Positive affirmations act as a reminder that conflicts aren't just roadblocks, but rather stepping stones to deeper connections. For teenagers, these skills are particularly important, as it's during these years that many are learning how to manage relationships independently for the first time. By focusing on finding common ground, discussing solutions, encouraging self-reflection, and using positive affirmations, teens can transform conflicts into valuable learning experiences. Practicing these strategies consistently will not only improve your ability to resolve conflicts, but also contribute to your overall personal development. Each resolved conflict adds a layer of resilience and understanding, helping you handle even more complex situations in the future. The ability to navigate conflicts effectively is a life skill that will serve you well beyond your teenage years. Interactive practice and tools. Engaging in role-play scenarios is an exciting and effective way to practice clear communication and empathy. Imagine you and a friend pretending to be two people having a disagreement. For instance, one person might be frustrated about their noisy neighbor, while the other plays the part of the neighbor defending themselves. This role-playing helps each person step into someone else's shoes, experiencing different perspectives. It's kind of like acting, but instead of aiming for applause, you're working on understanding and solving disputes. Through these exercises, you can learn how to articulate your feelings without causing a fight, and how to listen to others' concerns without immediately getting defensive. Moving on, visual aids can be super handy tools for mastering both communication and conflict resolution. Sometimes words alone aren't enough to make things clear. Visual aids like charts or flowcharts can help map out the steps needed to resolve conflicts. Think of it as creating a roadmap for navigating tricky conversations. A simple chart could outline stages, identifying the problem, expressing feelings, discussing solutions, and finding common ground. When you see these steps laid out visually, it's easier to follow them and stay on track during real-life interactions. Plus, flowcharts are cool because they show multiple pathways, helping you consider alternative solutions if one approach doesn't work out. Feedback sessions after role-playing are just as important as the role-plays themselves. After you finish a role-playing exercise, sit down and chat with your partner about what went well and what didn't. Maybe your friend noticed that you raised your voice when you got frustrated, or perhaps you didn't listen as attentively as you should have. These debriefs offer invaluable insights. They're not about pointing fingers, but about constructive feedback to improve your skills. By understanding your strengths and weaknesses, you can continuously refine your approach. It's like reviewing game footage to get better for the next match. Everyone needs feedback to grow and excel. Now, on to the importance of regular practice. Just like learning to ride a bike or play a musical instrument, mastering communication and conflict resolution requires consistent effort. Integrate these skills into your daily life. Practice active listening when chatting with friends, or use I statements to express your feelings calmly when you're upset with family members. The more you apply these techniques, the more natural they become. Over time, you'll start to notice improvements in how smoothly your conversations go and how effectively conflicts get resolved. Think of it as building muscles. The more you work at it, the stronger you get. Each of these exercises builds upon the other to form a comprehensive toolkit for effective communication and conflict resolution. Role-playing gives you a safe space to practice. Visual aids provide clarity. Feedback sessions offer improvement opportunities, and regular practice ensures these skills become second nature. When combined, these elements help create teens who can navigate their social worlds with confidence and empathy, making their relationships healthier and more meaningful. In summary, mastering communication and conflict resolution isn't about memorizing a bunch of rules. It's about engaging in activities that let you practice, review, and refine your approach. Role-play scenarios help you understand and develop empathy. Visual aids make complex processes easier to grasp. Feedback sessions provide crucial insights for improvement. Regular practice solidifies these skills, ensuring you're prepared to handle real-world interactions effectively and gracefully. Imagine a world where every teenager could communicate clearly and resolve conflicts peacefully. Wouldn't that be amazing? With these practical tools, that world is entirely within reach. So grab a friend, pull out some markers and paper for your visual aids, and start practicing. Remember, every conversation is an opportunity to get better. Embrace the process, and don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way. After all, the goal is progress, not perfection. You've got this. When embarking on role-play scenarios, think of different themes that resonate with typical teenage experiences. Perhaps enact a scene where one friend forgot to invite another to a party, leading to hurt feelings. Another scenario could involve a group project where one member isn't pulling their weight. These situations aren't just theoretical. They mimic real issues you might face, making the practice even more relevant. Through role-playing, you can discover ways to express your frustrations positively and solutions to avoid souring friendships. Visual aids can be made fun and engaging, too. Use colorful pens, stickers, or even digital apps to create your charts and flowcharts. Customize them to fit your style and make them something you're excited to use. For example, draw arrows showing different paths to resolution, or use icons to represent emotions involved in a conflict. Personalizing these aids can make the learning process enjoyable and motivating. During feedback sessions, adopting a positive and supportive attitude is key. Start with what went well before delving into areas that need improvement. For instance, "You did a great job staying calm when things got heated," followed by, "Maybe next time, try to summarize what the other person said to show you're listening." Constructive criticism is easier to swallow when it's balanced with praise. To incorporate regular practice, set small, manageable goals. Decide to focus on one aspect of communication for a week, like making eye contact or avoiding interruptions. Keep a journal to track your progress and reflect on your experiences. Writing about your daily interactions can help reinforce what you've learned and highlight areas to work on. Let's put all these elements together in a functioning example. Suppose you had an argument with a sibling about sharing chores. First, role-play the scenario with a friend, switching roles to explore both perspectives. Next, use a flowchart to visualize possible solutions, such as dividing tasks based on personal strengths or alternating duties weekly. Afterward, discuss the role play with your friend, noting what worked and what didn't. Finally, apply these insights the next time you negotiate chores, observing how the conversation flows more smoothly and results in fairer outcomes. Summary and reflections. So, we've covered quite a bit on how effective communication and conflict resolution can turn your social life from a roller coaster into a smooth ride. By being clear and direct, practicing active listening, and matching your body language to your words, you're already halfway to becoming a communication wizard. And remember, when things get heated, keeping your cool with deep breaths and I statements can work wonders. These skills aren't just about avoiding fights. They're about making every relationship in your life stronger and more meaningful. Now, think of conflicts not as dreaded confrontations, but as golden opportunities for growth. Finding common ground and collaborating on solutions not only resolves disagreements but also strengthens bonds. Plus, practicing these techniques regularly will make them second nature. So, next time you're faced with a sticky situation, show off your newfound skills. Trust me, your friendships, family life, and even school projects will benefit hugely from this upgraded version of you. Keep practicing, stay cool, and watch how these small changes make big differences.